Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Verlyn. I do a variety of videos, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. So on today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my tips and guidelines for landing that awesome job, okay? These are the tips and guidelines that I've been using in my whole adult life. So it's not just nursing related. If you're interested in hearing about that, please stay tuned. But don't forget to share, comment, subscribe, and of course, like my video for more content. All right, guys, let's jump right into this video. So I've applied for the job and now I got a call back and I've confirmed a date and a time for my interview. What do I do next? The first thing I do is I research the company. Okay, I want to find out what's their mission statement, what's their goals, and what's their focuses. Just like if I was going someplace on vacation, I would research that place and find out what's the good and the bad about the area. So going into an interview, I want to know about the company. I want to really know what they're about. I want to look at their reviews, look at past employees' reviews as well, and find out, hey, is this really a good company? Maybe it's something that we should do prior to pressing apply, but let's be real, a lot of times that's not the case. We scroll, apply, scroll, apply. So once I've researched the company, I go ahead and I prepare my documents. So the first thing I do is I look over my resume to make sure there's nothing that I need to edit in my resume. And once everything is good to go, I print it out. I also prepare a cover letter. I prepare a cover letter for that specific job because I want to also give them a cover letter. And that is if I did not submit a cover letter with my application, okay? So sometimes I go ahead and I do a cover letter one time, but if I didn't have the opportunity to do a cover letter at the time of applying, I take the opportunity when I'm doing the interview to give them a cover letter, okay? Also, I always have at least 3 reference letters on hand. And I print those out with me as well, and I put that in my folder. So my folder consists of my resume, my cover letter, and my reference letters. I put those in a folder and I put them in what I call my interview purse. My interview purse is big enough to hold my folder so that once I walk into my interview, I'm not walking into my interview with like my purse and a folder. I have my folder in my interview purse, and once I'm sitting with the interviewer and before I leave, I go ahead and I present that to them. At times, during your interview, they may ask you like, do you have a copy of your resume? You never want to be like, oh my God, I don't. You want to be prepared, okay? So I always have a copy of my resume. And when I'm leaving the interview, I give them the cover letter if they don't have one already and my reference letters, okay? Be prepared, okay? Invest in yourself. Invest in this opportunity. If you got to do a little extra typing or come up with a little extra stuff, like do it because you want the job, okay? So the third thing I do is I find an outfit. I like to wear colors that complement my skin tone. I find colors that are not too bright, and of course stuff that are not too dark to look like I'm going to a funeral. I also wear long sleeve shirts. I prefer to wear long sleeve shirts because of my tattoos. I do have a half sleeve. I have a tattoo here, I have a tattoo here, and I also have a tattoo here. My preference is a long sleeve shirt because that's just not the first look that I want to give when in an interview. That's just my preference. I also wear long pants and heels. So a typical interview look for me is a business long sleeve button down top with a long pants, either black, blue, or gray, and my heels. And of course, my interview purse. After researching the company, preparing my documents, and finding something to wear, I normally go on Waze and I look up the directions to the interview location. I want to become familiar with what roads I'm taking and how long it's going to take me to get there. And if I have time, I normally drive by the location so that I can have a visual of the building or the area where I'm going to. If it wasn't given to me at the time of confirmation for the interview, I do reach back out to my point of contact to find out, where do I park? Am I parking in a parking garage? Am I parking on the side of the road? Is there a specific area for me to park? Am I going to have to pay? Do I have to walk across to get to the building? These are things that I need to know, because when trying to plan out my day, I need to know how much time I need to give myself to get to that interview on time. So I've landed the interview, I researched the company, got something to wear, got my documents together, but I need to know, where am I going and where am I gonna park? All right, so 24 hours before the interview. Interview is tomorrow. What is Verlyn doing? I'm going to refresh my look. That's the first thing. That is number one for me, okay? I am going to ensure that my hair is intact and my nails, if at the time I have on acrylics, are well groomed. I'm not going to walk into an interview with my nails long out there with no crazy colors. That's just not me. I normally don't wear colored nails. I like nude or like a soft pink, but I also like to make sure that my nails are refilled, they're short and they're neat and ready to go. Also with my hair, I try to make sure that my hair is done. And if I can't get my hair done, I'm gonna go buy me a wig. I'm sorry. That's just me. I always invest in my appearance prior to an interview because I want to give off a great first impression. And I want, when that person sees me, they feel like, oh, she was prepared from head to toe. So now my appearance is ready to go. What's next? I go ahead and I search up common interview questions for that specific job. And I get familiar with those questions. What kind of questions I may be asked. I kind of start thinking about how am I going to answer those questions. And I actually start practicing how I'm going to answer it. So this is the question. Tell me about yourself. I want to go ahead and think about, what about myself do I want to say? And then I practice how I'm going to present that information. So that way, when those questions are asked to me during the interview, I'm not like, oh my God, I've never heard these questions before. So that is something I do. I'm going to look up the questions. I'm going to look up common questions, questions that relate to the jobs. I'm going to be prepared. So now I've refreshed my look. I have a list of questions that may be asked or common interview questions. At that point, I'm going to then make a list of questions myself that I'm going to ask the interviewer. I never go into an interview and not ask questions, because I have questions for you as well. One of the questions that I normally ask is, what is a typical workday for me in this position? Because I want to know what my day is going to look like. And I want to also see if the person interviewing me also has an idea of what they're really hiring me to do. Many times I've been interviewed by somebody that really has no idea what my job is going to be. And I like to see, like, do you know what you're really hiring me to do? So that's one of the questions I ask. Another question that I also ask, and this is a very big question, is what is your expectation for me in the first 30 days, in the first 60 days, in the first 90 days? And I ask this question because I want to be successful in this role. And I want to know, what is this company going to be looking for? Majority of jobs, or all jobs, give you a 90-day probation, and then they also give you an evaluation. So for me, I want to make sure that I am giving them what they want. I want to make sure that the things that they expect out of me is the things that I'm going to come into this role and do. At the end of the day, you want to put your best self out there. So finding out what a company wants from you will give you an idea of, is this job a right fit? Is this something that I can do? Or is this something that I even want to do? Because of course, you don't always have to take the job, and this is your chance to see if this job is for you. So the next thing I do is I make a list of things about myself that I want to make sure that I say in the interview. Things that I don't want to leave out. There's certain things about myself that I want to make sure that I make that interviewer aware of. For example, I'm a veteran. I always say that. And I always talk about things that I've done in the military that I can carry over to my civilian job, because I want them to know that maybe I may not have this specific experience, but hey, the experience I gained someplace else might benefit me in this role. So I always make sure to make a list of things about myself that will help me better present myself to the interviewer. So the last thing I do the day before the interview is I make sure to lay out my clothes. I make sure everything is prepped and ready to go. I also double check my interview bag, and if there's anything from my regular bag that I need to put in there, I go ahead and I do that then. The last thing you want to do when walking out the door is realizing that, oh my gosh, I left my other stuff in my regular purse. So for me, I make sure my clothes and my bag is prepped and ready to go for the next day. So now it's the day of the interview. I don't ever schedule my interviews for first thing in the morning. I normally schedule my interviews 10:30 and up, because this gives me time in the morning to really get myself together. It gives me time to have my coffee, read if I need to, go over my notes if I need to, and really prepare myself for that interview. So once the day comes, have my coffee, look over my notes, get ready. Now I'm ready to go. I make sure that I give myself ample time to be parking up at a decent time, because I want to always walk into the building 20 minutes early.
You're late if you're on time.
Not parking up 20 minutes early. I want to be walking into the facility 20 minutes early. So I take my time in the morning, get myself together, get there probably 30 minutes before, walk in at 20 minutes to the time of my interview. So now I'm in the building and I greet everybody.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
If there is a security at the door, hi, good morning, how are you? The receptionist, hi, good morning, my name is Verlyn. I am here for an interview, such and such and such. After being told maybe I need to wait here, or she's going to call, you know, the person that I'm here to see. Thank you so much for your help. Have a wonderful day. I am pleasant to everybody that I come in contact with. I've actually interviewed for a job before where the receptionist was the owner's niece. And they did, in fact, ask her what was her first impression of me when she interacted with me. And that right there was always something that I took with me, because you never know who you're interacting with. Not because you might see the person at the door holding the door that they may be the doorman. You just never know. So greet and be pleasant to everyone that you come in contact with. So now it's time for the interview. And I always make sure that I say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. I always want to make sure that I'm showing respect throughout the entire interview. And I make sure to give eye contact.
I make eye contact. I make tons of eye contact.
I don't let my focus be any place else. I'm not checking my phone. I'm not checking my watch. I'm not looking away. I'm giving that person, or if it's more than one person, my attention, okay? Full attention. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you. I understand. Full respect, full attention, okay? When answering the questions asked, I take my time, okay? Make sure you are taking your time. Think about your answer before answering. And if you need them to repeat it, simply ask, can you repeat that for me? Don't rush to answer a question and then you make a fool out of yourself. Take the time, process what they're asking you, think about the best answer that you could give, okay? And then answer the question. It's not a rush. You want to present your best self, okay? So just take your time. My next tip, and one of my greatest guidelines, and I try to follow this all the time, is be confident. Nobody's going to sell me like me, okay? So I am going to be confident. When talking about me, I'm gonna tell you about me, okay? I'm going to make sure that I present my best self. I am going to make sure that I put myself on a pedestal because I want that person to see how confident I am in me, okay? I have actually had an interviewer ask me, what can you bring to my team that we didn't have before? And you know what my response was? I'm a Bryn Verlin. That was my response. I said, there's no one like me. I am me, and this is why. And I gave my best qualities. I presented my best self, and I was confident in it.
I'm very confident on this matter.
And she said, I've never had anybody give me that answer. And I said, because you never had me. So be confident in who you are. When you're answering those questions, when they tell you, tell me about yourself, that is your time to shine. That is your time to say, listen, let me tell you who I am. Get a pen, get a paper, write it down. Make sure you leave that lasting impression on them. Because when you walk out that door, you want them to say, that Verlin, she's awesome. So be confident in who you are. Be confident in your experiences. Be confident in your education. Be confident in where you see yourself in 5 years. Even if you feel like you are not where you want to be right now, let them know, I am working towards that goal. This is not the end for me. This is not my end game. I am going to be there. Okay? So again, be confident. Know who you are. Don't let anybody dim your light, especially in an interview. You're going to get the job. That's what the goal is. When asked, do you have any questions? Ask your questions confidently. That's not the time for you to be scared. That's not the time for you to, speak softly and under your breath. No. Go ahead and ask the questions that you have. Ask them and let them know, hey, I am very much serious about this job. And these are the questions that I have. I came prepared, and listen to the answers that they're giving you. Ask your follow-up questions if you need to. Make sure that they are able to answer you just as clear as you were able to answer them. After you've asked your questions, ask for a tour. Hey, is it possible that I can get a tour of the facility, the office, the building? Let them know that you are very much interested and invested in this position. So when they ask you, do you have anything to ask us? Go in full force. No breaks. Let them know, hey, I have questions and I want a tour. Thank you. When the interview comes to an end, I always thank them for the opportunity that they gave me to interview for that position. I want that interviewer to know that I am thankful and grateful for their time, because honestly, they didn't have to give me an interview. Once I get up, I try to shake their hand. If, you know, shaking hands is okay, because we know we're still following COVID protocols, but I try to shake their hand and I let them know while making eye contact that after this interview, I'm even more interested in this position. And I really do hope that I hear back from them. I ask them, is there a way to follow up? Maybe I can send an email, maybe I can get a phone call. And I also ask them, what is the time frame? Okay. Are you looking to hire right away? Am I going to get a response in 2 to 3 days, 7 business days? And I let them know. Also, if I'm not the selected person, I'd appreciate just getting, hey, you weren't selected for this position, so that I myself can know that that position is no longer available for me. But always, 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 you want to shake their hands and you want to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I am grateful. I am thankful.
Yes! Thank you for this opportunity.
I want to give you guys this last advice. It's not a tip. It's not a guideline, but it's an advice, okay? Walk away from every interview you do with your head held high. Don't walk away looking like you are unsure. You put your best foot out. You presented your best self. Regardless of what the outcome may be, walk away with your head high. You did the damn thing. You presented the best version of you that you could have. So whether you get the position or not, you can walk away knowing that I gave it my best. I gave it my all. And if they didn't see me as a right fit, that is okay. Okay? But never walk away from an interview looking down, looking like, oh my God, I'm so unsure. No, you say thank you. I appreciate it. And you walk away with your head held high. You say goodbye to everybody. And if you have that fear and that doubt, and oh my God, I might have bummed this.
Just had another bad job interview.
Do that in the car. Do that on the way home. But don't you ever do that in front of them. Let them see that you are confident and proud of who you presented yourself to be, and you walk away.
This interview's over, and I get the job.
That comes to the end of my video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I really hope I shared some tips and some guidelines that can help somebody out there. I've had a lot of interviews and I've landed a lot of jobs. I've turned down a lot of jobs too, because sometimes it just wasn't the right fit for me. But following these guidelines and tips throughout my adult life has really taken me far. I've always made sure to present my best self. I've always made sure that I leave a lasting impression on that person. Even if I don't get the job, I want that if there is a position that comes up later on, that they can think about me. And I've also had that happen before. I've had times where I didn't get the job at the moment, but a position came up and they thought about me and they called me back. You know what I mean? So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Please don't forget to share, comment, subscribe, and of course, like my video. If you have any questions or anything else that you want me to elaborate on, leave a comment below and I will definitely answer you. See you guys in my next video. Bye.